Today we are deleting the Sumerian inventions. You use these inventions every day and every hour, living under their rules without ever realizing they were created by the Sumerians. By the end of this video, you will be shocked to discover how this single deletion fundamentally alters your sense of time, your movement across the planet, the way you record your thoughts, and the foundational agreements and laws that define modern life. This isn't a history lesson. This is world erased. Let's start with the first invention that dictates your every second: timekeeping. Why are there 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, 360 degrees in a circle? It's not a law of physics. It's a Sumerian math hack. Over 5,000 years ago, they built a mathematical system based entirely on the number 60, because it is an absolute mathematical masterpiece, cleanly divisible by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. But we just deleted the Sumerians. Base 60 is gone. So what is our replacement? Without Sumerians setting the global standard, humanity defaults to the most basic biological calculator we have: our fingers. We become a base 10 species. Welcome to decimal time. This actually isn't science fiction. During the French Revolution in 1793, they tried to force the world to use a 10-hour decimal clock. Each hour has 100 minutes. Each minute has 100 seconds, which made people miss appointments, meetings, deadlines, and it failed because Sumerian time was already baked into our global DNA. But in our erased world, the decimal clock rules from day one, and it comes with a terrifying consequence. You can't cleanly divide 10 by 3 or 4. Because of this clunky math, a circle no longer has 360 degrees. Let's say it has 100 degrees. This completely breaks early geometry and astronomy. Try mapping the stars or dividing a circular globe using math based on your fingers. It's an absolute nightmare. Global navigation is delayed by centuries. Columbus doesn't sail in 1492. The age of exploration stalls out completely. In this timeline, the continents remain geographically isolated for another 1,000 years, simply because humanity's biological math was too stubborn to map the curvature of the Earth. Now let's delete the crown jewel of Sumerian invention: the wheel. Here is a massive misconception. The Sumerians did not invent the wheel for transportation. They invented this circular shape to mass-produce clay bowls, and only later realized, hey, if we turn this sideways, we can move heavy stuff. If we delete the Sumerians, the wheel never sparks. Do we just stay in mud huts forever? No. Human ambition doesn't stop. It pivots. If the wheel is delayed by 3,000 years, humanity's development and efforts go all in on friction reduction and water for transportation. You don't have to imagine a world without a wheel. The Inca and Maya already lived it. They built massive, towering pyramids and megacities through incredibly hard and tiring effort, while they were completely unaware the invention even existed. Instead of paving hard roads for wagons, our alternate empires dig massive, continent-spanning canal networks. This ensures that water transport becomes the lifeblood of movement and trade. If you don't live near a river, your city does not survive. To move things over land, we use our best engineering skills to create sleds and rollers. We also rely on biology by breeding very large, strong animals to pull heavy wooden frames. For example, if workers need to move a 10-ton stone block, they would pour slippery oils over smooth clay tracks. Then they would use strong, carefully measured ropes to pull the massive sleds along the path. But here is the dark side of a wheelless world. Without the wheel, there is no gear. Without the gear, there is no pulley, no water mill, no mechanical clock, no steam engine. We permanently lock out the Industrial Revolution. Our alternate society runs on tension punk, complex systems of springs, massive levers, and counterweights snapping back and forth. Humanity's physical power ceiling is capped by how much pure muscle and tension we can generate. Now, let's delete the most fundamental record of our existence: writing. This story starts around 3200 BCE, when a Sumerian accountant, tired of remembering who owed him sheep, scratched tally marks into wet clay. That simple ledger became cuneiform, the world's first script and the birth of writing. Erase the Sumerians, and the written word vanishes. Without writing, knowledge is fragile. If the smartest scientist in your village dies, their discoveries die with them and cannot be learned by future generations. Human intellect doesn't accumulate, it cycles in endless, fading loops. So without writing on clay or paper, how does an empire keep tax records, land ownership, and history? We turn to tactile, three-dimensional data storage. Used historically by the ancient Inca Empire, this was a deeply complex system of knotted strings. Instead of writing on a flat surface, you tied knots into hanging cords. The type of knot, the color of the string, and the distance between knots acted as a physical, 3D binary code. The Incas ran an empire of 10 million people using this exact technology. In our erased world, you don't read letters with your eyes, you decipher knots. Imagine, instead of buying a book, you buy a box full of colorful knots, and society relies on elite people whose only job is to tie and decode knot data with their fingertips. However, a critical weakness exists. While carvings in stone or clay can endure for millennia, these knots are perishable, typically lasting only a few years before they decay, taking their recorded meanings with them. Finally, we have to delete the blueprint of scale, written law. There is a biological limit to how many friends a human brain can track. It's called Dunbar's number, around 150 people. Beyond that, people are strangers. And when thousands of strangers live together without rules, paranoia and violence set in. Around 2100 BCE, King Ur-Nammu of Sumer fixed this by compiling the oldest written legal code. He created a concept so radical it changed our species. A law is a permanent written system binding on everyone equally. This single idea allowed millions of strangers to trust each other. Erase written law, and the very concept of a contract disappears. So how do humans govern millions of people without a constitution? Without written contracts, ownership is purely physical. You only own what you can physically hold. To do business with a stranger, you don't sign a paper. You use a bula, a hollow clay ball with physical tokens sealed inside. To break the contract, you literally have to smash the ball in front of a dozen witnesses. Because you can't incorporate a faceless business on paper, the global economy is run by gigantic, interlinked family syndicates. You don't have a credit score. Your credit is your actual family name, backed by generations of biological trust. Without written laws to maintain order, modern megacities like New York or London are mathematically impossible. If a city hits 5,000 people, it collapses under the weight of its own chaos. The world remains a planet of highly fortified, tribal supervillages. You don't have a passport. The moment you walk 50 miles from your birthplace, you are in completely lawless territory. If we delete the Sumerians, we don't destroy humanity. Humans are too stubborn and far too creative for that. By erasing these foundational Sumerian contributions, we effectively impose a 3,000-year setback on ourselves. Imagine a world where your day begins at hour 4 on a clunky decimal clock. Without a legal paper proving you own your house, you constantly fear someone will just come and take it. In this world, time is meaningless, and without law to protect you, we all live in a jungle. Instead of roads, you travel along canal paths or sled tracks, and instead of reading an email, you spend hours untying knots in a string just to understand a simple message. The world is slower, Tensions are settled by bloodlines. Construction is forever bounded by muscle. Global trade barely exists. The systems we think are natural, time, words, wheels, laws, are just the echoes of a few brilliant minds in ancient Iraq. Take them away, and the future can be shaped into literally anything. Which civilization, empire, or invention should we erase from the timeline next? Let me know in the comments. Hit subscribe, and let's keep dismantling the world. This was World Erased.